Hello, Cody and Annie here with the Board Buds, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Dark Quarter from Ryder Games and Lucky Duck Games. This is a sort of sequel follow-up to Destinies, which we've played some of the first one of those, but not all of them. This is a story-based game where you're going to be mostly just moving around a city and doing dice checks and seeing what happens in the story. And it's app-driven, so if that's not your thing, probably not for you. And let's get into the mechanics. All right, first thing we're going to talk about for the mechanics is really there's not a whole lot of mechanisms of any sort in this. Mostly you're just picking where you go on a board and choosing an action to do. And maybe you have to do a skill check based on the 4 different skills that your character can have. And then you kind of just see what happens. What did you think about moving around, doing skill checks?
It was fun. There's also a lot of reading for this one because you're reading on an app, the app for the game.
It is very text and word reading heavy.
Yes. I like doing the skill checks sometimes. It could also get frustrating sometimes because I feel like there were certain challenges, especially towards the end when it was some of the bigger bad guys or whatever that I feel like we failed a lot, especially certain skills and things. If you didn't have this skill a lot and you needed that and you just had bad rolls or whatever, it could get unfortunate. But
yeah, I think near the end of almost all the scenarios, which there's I think 4 in the base game, the end bit of most of them we got stuck for a while on at least one of the skill checks. And it seemed to be you just need to do it or you can't really progress, and there didn't really seem to be a fail condition that let you move on, just not as well or anything. It seemed to be just do it until you get it. So that definitely got frustrating a few times. But yeah, in general, there's not a whole lot to the actual strategy or thought or anything to it. It's just roll your dice and kind of
hope you get a good
see
roll.
What happened.
Yeah.
There's 4 different characters in the game. We played this just the 2 of us, so we only got to see. I think Winter Mullins was my guy. He was an alcoholic who could see or talk to ghosts when he was drunk. So that was an interesting character. And you were Constance Moreau, I think, who was kind of not a wizard, but she had some magic abilities.
She was kind of like a New Orleans witch type character.
Yeah. So when we got into situation, she was good at the magic skill mostly, and I was mostly good at charisma, I think, for some reason. But when we got into things that required strength, we tended to struggle with strength skill checks.
Yeah.
I like the way the level up system works.
Yeah.
So the way the leveling up your skills work is you have a number of cubes on each of your skill tracks, and when you do a check, you have to roll a die, and however high the number is, if it's higher than where your cubes are on your track, you get that many successes. The same as the Destiny system, if you're familiar with that, but I think that's a really neat system, and it's pretty engaging and fun to build your character how you want.
Yeah, so I kind of focused on the arcane because I was good at it, so I leveled that up a lot, which was helpful for a lot of the things I wanted to do. And ignored the strength, which kind of wasn't helpful at times, but I did build up some of the other strengths as well.
Another way to build your character was every so often you could spend experience to get, or maybe not experience, you would get skill cards somehow.
Yeah, I don't remember how we got them.
I don't either. But you get skill cards somehow. I think you buy them with experience, and then you have to get rid of some skill cards that you have, so you'll never have them to pay for one of them. And each character has their own specific deck of skill cards that unlock as you progress. Like each chapter or something unlocks some more for you to choose from. And those help your character get more powerful and have more fun and interesting abilities and things to do. And I thought that was a nice way to make it feel like you're progressing as you play through the campaign.
Yeah, some of those were really helpful at times.
Yes. I don't remember. I think one of mine let me talk to ghosts more often, or get alcohol so I could talk to ghosts more often, things like that.
Yeah, one of mine was like at the start of every, not chapter, what was the...
chapters were broken up into, well, not broken up. There were intermissions in chapters.
Yes.
I'm not really sure what triggered them necessarily, but I assume some story points, but they happened sometimes.
I think it was the start of every intermission. I got certain helpful items that were useful throughout the story.
Speaking of the items, as you're moving around through the world, you can acquire items. Some of them are really strong, some of them not so much. But when you have items and you interact at a place, you can sometimes scan a QR code on them to use them to help with certain things. And I think that's a pretty fun system.
Yeah, I enjoyed that part.
Slightly annoying when you know what you need but don't have it and don't really know where to get it.
Yeah.
But I thought that was good. And I like the QR code scan actually worked really well. We never really had any issues with that. It was usually just point the camera at it and it picked it up immediately. You didn't have to like zoom in and out and try to get proper lighting or anything. On that note, the app in general I thought worked really well. I don't think we really had any issues with it.
The one thing I didn't like was sometimes it would tell me that I needed to do something that I had already done, and it made my character go back and redo it for some reason, and I don't know why. I think it did do that to me twice.
Yeah, I do remember we ran into that with you a couple times. I don't know if that was like the app malfunctioning or anything, or if that was just like a weird logic loop to make the story work properly. On that note, we might as well talk about what we thought of the story in the world and all that. Why don't you start with that?
I did enjoy the story. I liked that each character has their own unique backstory, and each character within the story itself also has their own unique, like, there would be certain areas on the board that were just for my character and certain places for them to go visit, and there were certain spots for his character to go visit. And I thought that was an interesting kind of like spin on it, and it made it a little more fun for me, and I liked that.
Yeah, I liked our little sub-stories.
Yeah.
Yours was something about trying to learn things about your mom,
which my birth
mother. Won't get into really for spoiler reasons. Mine was I possibly hit somebody with a car drunk one night, and it's looking into investigating that, who it was, did I really do it, all that stuff. Sometimes in those you'll get, I forget what they're called, some kind of pivotal moments.
Yeah.
And the app will warn you that it's about to happen, and then you only have a couple seconds to decide between a couple different options on it. And you can set the timer on that to be faster or slower, depends how much pressure you want in that. We set it on the recommended, which was fastest, I think, or close to the fastest. And I liked that for the decisions. It made them feel a little less thought out, which in the context of the story made sense. Yeah. What did you think of those?
Yeah, I thought they added a little fun to it too, because it was like you had to make a quick decision of like what you wanted the character to do in that moment. Because there wasn't a lot of time for the character in the moment anyhow to make that decision. So it put the pressure on you as well.
Did you enjoy the overall story and the fun, like, New Orleans voodoo type world with some supernatural stuff, but mostly not anything too crazy, although there are, like, werewolves and vampires and whatnot?
I did. I thought it was a good story. And it kind of tied some fun stuff together. It was an interesting story overall. And some of the little like side quest things that it brought you on to bring this whole story together was kind of fun. Yeah,
I agree. I thought it was fun overall. When it wasn't a fast pace. It was relatively long, I guess, because each session took us at least 2 hours, maybe closer to 3 for some of them. Long, the 3 probably mostly when we got stuck and couldn't get past certain skill checks. But yeah, I thought it was a good story overall. I like that world. We don't really see a whole lot of that in board games or even really video games either.
Yeah.
So it was a unique world to inhabit for a while.
Yes.
I didn't really like that. It didn't seem like there was really any branches to it. Like if we failed a thing, it just kind of wouldn't let us.
Yes, you couldn't go on. You just had to keep trying.
Yeah, so it seemed like the same thing would happen. Like if we were to play again, I don't really think anything different would happen necessarily, other than if we played the other
different characters. Yeah.
I think that's the only way I'd really be interested in playing it again is if we played the other characters, and even then, like the main story, I think is pretty much going to be identical.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like we had options of like, oh, go after this guy or do this thing or that. It was just, here's the thing you do.
Yeah.
Though you did have to figure out what that thing was. Like it did feel like an investigation a lot of times.
Yes.
Because the board gets populated with a bunch of potential points of interest. And you can go talk to various people there to get new leads on new places and new people to talk to and everything. And I liked how that all worked, but it seemed like you just had to eventually get to the right people to go the right way. It didn't really seem like you could go down a wrong path and lose the round or like have a bad thing happen really in a round. So that was a little disappointing, but it was still fun, and they masked it reasonably well for the most part. Although by the end, I think it was pretty obvious that we were bottlenecked into
where we were going,
what was going to happen. Anything else you want to touch on for gameplay stuff, story bits? Oh, this is definitely an adult game. It swears a lot.
Yes.
There's a lot of gore and blood and such in some of the pictures. I thought the swearing was mostly funny, but it definitely toes the line into kind of like edgelord adolescent swearing at times, and crossed that line probably sometimes for me, but I thought mostly it made sense and was, I don't know that I'd say tastefully done, but I found it humorous more often than not.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, it was mostly, it made sense for the character most of the time, and for what was happening, that there was swearing, but sometimes it was crossing the line of like, okay, enough.
All right, now we're gonna take a look at the components, and we'll be right back. All right, we're gonna talk about the components now and how we felt about various things. Here is the main board setup, and it has various locations and characters that you can visit. The locations and characters are marked by little cardboard chits. The locations are all thumbtacks, and the characters are little character portraits. What do you think about this bit of the game?
I feel like the board was kind of not useful throughout most of the game, honestly, because you kind of just went to other locations. Like, maybe it kind of helped keep you like, okay, this is where this is in location to this, but like, it really...
That stuff was all in the app too. So the app has the board set up with all the stuff you can do on it, because that's how you go to them, is you just tap on it. So I think the board itself is a nice little art of New Orleans, and that's fine, but it's not great or anything. The character portraits, again, they're fine, but they're nothing that stood out to me. And yeah, the board itself mostly seemed pretty useless to me. Next thing we'll talk about is sometimes the board will give you some locations that you can go to. This is in just 2 examples. We have a little crime scene here and a park. You'll end up with a lot of these out through the game. They're pretty large cards, on decent cardstock. They're nice to have. It gives the game some flavor, I think. Some of them depict some crime scenes, which are pretty grisly and brutal to look at, but it's interesting to do investigations and stuff there. The art on them, again, is nice, but doesn't stand out one way or the other for me. It's mostly kind of just going for like a mostly realistic art style.
Yeah.
Any real thoughts on those?
No. They were the more fun kind of location, and that was, I feel, more the board for me, because those are where like your character was, and that's where, like, I don't know, I felt that was more of like
more engaging.
Yes, because you had those spread out, and it was like, okay, I'm gonna go here now, and that's.
I agree with that. All right, next we'll get into probably the components we liked a little more. Here we have a player board for Constance Moreau. As you can see, it's a dual layer. There's a little indented spot up here to keep experience and some of your dice. And down below we have the 4 skill types, and this is where you would put your cubes for how proficient you are in each of those skills. It also has some indicators here to help you know how much experience it costs to move a dice down on that track, which is nice.
Yeah.
And you have a nice character portrait here as well. What do you think of this?
I liked that a lot. I liked little cubes. They were kind of fun, and I enjoyed that it helped you keep track here. And you had, what was it, 3 or 4 cubes out for each one?
I think you start with 3, but you can go up and down based on various penalties or benefits you get. Yeah, I like that it's dual layer. I think it would be kind of miserable if it wasn't, especially for the skill spot parts. And I think the art on the character profile, or the character's little profile picture on the side is some of the better art in the game. It's a little more detailed and less generic-y, I guess.
Yeah, the characters were probably the best art throughout all of it. There was something else too that I thought was nicer. Maybe I don't remember.
I don't remember them being on anything else.
No, maybe it was just this.
Okay, and each character also has custom dice. So these are all the dice. You have the bigger dice and the smaller dice. I forget what their names are, but they're used for different things for each character. So each character has their own dice. Every dice is unique for the character. As you can see, some of them translucent, some of them not. I think these are by far the best bit in the game. They are super nice. They feel nice to roll. They look really cool. I love that each character has 2 sets of totally unique dice for them.
Yeah, and I really liked the colors and stuff and how they all look like the green. I don't know if you can see it through the camera, but it like the different colors of green in it, and same with the purple. Like it's purple and black and kind of shiny. That's kind of why I picked Constance. I really liked her dice. They're just kind of nice and fun to play with.
I agree. Excellent component there. Lastly, we got the miniatures. Each player character has a little yellow mini. You probably can't really see them. They're okay, pretty well done. Small and would be a pain to paint, but I'm not really a good painter. And then a few of the bad guys have a bigger miniature. I think they're a little nicer than the character ones, mostly because they're bigger, but they're pretty nice, pretty detailed, look good.
Yeah.
Not like any super special, outstanding things to them, but they look good.
Yeah, I thought the miniatures were nice. Like you said, the bad guy ones are kind of a little bit nicer than the character ones, but the character ones are smaller. But I think because they had, well, I guess they both go on the board.
Yep. I think overall the miniature quality is a little better than Destiny's if you're aware of how that is to compare it to, but Destiny's also had way more. This only has the 4 character minis and 4, maybe 5 big enemy ones. All right, we'll go back up for the final thoughts and review. All right, we're back to give you our final thoughts on this and give it some scores. I'm gonna go first here because Annie's still struggling. I'm gonna go with a 7, I think. I liked the story overall, and it was good, enjoyable, in a fun, unique world. Um, the mechanism of the skill check, I like it, but I don't think it's really quite enough to keep my interest for, uh, 8 hours or however long the whole thing took us to do, because there's not really any thought or strategy involved. It's mostly just reading the story, which is okay. That's what it's going for. Um, but that paired with the fact that I don't really think it's overly replayable, and that we kind of got stuck on some skill checks, which led to frustration. At least 2 or 3 out of the 4 campaigns where we had a moment like that. Didn't ruin the whole thing, and I still think it's fun, and that if you think you're going to like this, you probably will. So yeah, 7 from me. What do you think?
I think I'm gonna go with a 7 too. I would play it again, especially as the other characters, but I think you're right that the main story is going to be the same. And yeah, like, I don't think overall it's too replayable, because we're gonna know what's gonna happen next time, and it's not gonna be that different. But it is fun, and I think, like you said, if you think you would enjoy it, you will.
All right. I think maybe in a couple years, after I forget everything, that
Yeah.
I'd be interested to play again as the other characters, but it's not something I'm looking forward to jumping right back into anytime soon.
That's fair.
There are a couple expansions that add new characters and stories, I think. Haven't really looked into those, but those exist too. So that was a Dark Quarter. We both liked it. If you think you're going to like it, check it out. If you liked the video, comment and subscribe. And we'll see you next time. Bye.